Hi everyone. So I'm back at ISOT. I'm doing another live because yesterday was my first one and I foolishly did not save it, and I really want to save the amazing ink, Sumi Ink Mica. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to run through some more stuff today. So apart from showing the new materials that Kuretake have, I'm also going to look at some very different things. But also, I looked at the live yesterday, the feed yesterday, and people asked certain questions. So hi Korea. People asked certain questions, and I will answer some of those questions. So let me just go through the stand again. So this is the Kuretake stand. So we're at the International Stationery Show in Tokyo. This is the Kuretake stand, which is a nice big stand. Please don't touch the gold. My goodness. So it's a really big stand. Of course, there's a really wonderful display of the clean color brushes. There's a set of 80, 60, 48, 36, 24. And then they also come, singly, or you could just buy this whole set. Right, so what I really want to show you is I want you to see this amazing carver. So Genshin does this beautiful woodcut. So he's cutting this out, this tiny work. And so from that, he will get this. Now I've zoomed in, I'm going to zoom out so you can see what the actual size of this thing is. But here's some of his work, these are some of his tools. Look at this. I mean, the work is absolutely spectacular. And here's a pen that he carved. So now this is Gendo, and he is the Sumi Ink maker at Kuretake. And you have to see this process. So it's going to take a little while. I'm not really going to talk through it because watching him do it is really quite special, okay? So this is the, hey So, how you doing, brother? So what he's doing is he's just putting some oil on the surface, and now he's going to go into the bag and get this sumi, which is in like a sort of plasticine-like form, which is a mixture of glue and carbon and soot. All right. So he's rolling the mixture up. I'm going to zoom in for you to see. And so it's like a little snake. Those of us who like to keep our hands clean, this is a real problem for us. So he fits it into this little cradle, this little mold, and then the block that he's using, so he then puts it into a press. Now we're going to see what it looks like when it's pressed and dried a little. I'd never seen this process before yesterday. It is truly spectacular. And that's a little ink stick, a little Sumi ink stick. So that then needs to dry. And that little block is carved there. I'm not sure what the drying process is. I don't know how long the time scale is. But Kuretake have a great video showing things like how the glue, where the glue comes from, you know, where the soot comes from, and it's quite amazing. Now, I know that is such an astonishing process, but to see it done and to see him standing up and stepping on it is really quite spectacular. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just show you some of the sticks that he's made. Right, this is amazing. So here are some of the ink sticks. And here's a massive ink stick. So I'm going to put my hand next to it so you have a sense of scale. And those of you who know me, you know my hands are quite large, and this inkstone is massive, but look at this. So this is one that is gilded. And if you think that's amazing, watch this. That is an inkstone. So can you imagine grinding that on an inkstone? Now Kuretake also have seal makers. They have seals and carving knives for seals, but they also have inkstones, and a slightly larger one. And this one's really lovely. Look at the ridges on this. Right. Of course, we have the Gansai Tambi, which is an amazing range. Of course, these are my two favorite colors, which they are renaming, thankfully, because I told them they had to. And we have the Gansai Starry, the Gansai Pearl, and there's a new Gansai, which is the Gansai Gem, which you can write on black. Now I'll show you some of this Gansai Gem to be written on. And so this is everybody sort of saying hello. And this is the young man we have to thank for the Starry Gansai, which is absolutely astonishing because he's so young. And so this is some more of the Kuretake team, all of whom, you know, we have to say thank you to for being so wonderful. And then we have some new additions to some Fude pens in that color range. And we have two additional new pens, which is the 50 and this that one over there, which is an alcohol-based marker, so you can use it to write onto different things. Like wood and glass and plastic and CDs, and when I arrived on Tuesday to set up my stand, I came across something quite amazing. Now, I cannot tell you how amazing this is. So this new brush, which they've just released, these two brushes here, are the Kotodama brushes. So there's a large one and a small one. They are so fine. They are so super fine. And of course, here are some of the brushes that Kuretake also make. These are all wonderful. They come in a set. They have a brush roll. They make paper. You get brush sets to practice. So there's quite a lot. So this is what the brush set looks like. So a little held set. And then of course more Fude pens. You know, the 55, which we love so much, which people struggle with. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at these with the Cambio pens. And of course my favorite, which is the Fude 8. So these are from the archive. Because of course Kuretake is celebrating 115 years. Now, yesterday I showed this and people sort of freaked out a little bit. So I'm going to show this again. Try not to freak out. I freaked out when I came here and I saw them setting this up. These are the high range fountain pens that Kuretake makes. So look at how beautiful this is. So these are all brush pens, and then they range in price depending on, for instance, what the tips are and how they work and why they work the way they work. And then you have a smaller pen set which has a brush pen and a ballpoint pen. And these are really, really beautiful. And yet, 2 days ago, I also discovered that Kuretake make scissors and punch cutters and beautiful tweezers for decoupage work and embossing tools. And of course, we have the Calligraphy 1 and the Calligraphy 2 marker. There are Calligraphy chalk markers. There's this journal marker, and of course the metallic colors. And the clear color, which Adam uses, and he's exceptional at using them. And of course you have the Postman Markers, which come in waterproof and wet wipes. And you can actually get them in tubs. So you can use these for, I use them for ruling pen work. And these are the sizes. So we have a 50, a 30, a 15. A chisel tip, a bullet tip, a smaller bullet tip, and I had no idea they did this. So I didn't know they did this fine marker. So you know, sometimes I come here and it's a bit of a shock for me too. Right, just gonna set you guys up here for a second. I hope you can hear me. Right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at some of the tools. So I went through this yesterday, but I'm happy to go through it again because some people said they didn't see it clearly enough. What I'm going to do is I'm going to look at the I'm going to look at some of the brush pens, particularly the Cambio. So the Cambio range is a great range. Thanks, David. So let's put these out so that you can see what they look like. So we have fine, medium, and large. I'm not going to look at the emojis. I'm only really looking at the Cambios because I want to put them into context. So we'll put the 55 in, and obviously we'll put the 8 in. Right. So let me get you to help. So just keep the camera this way, yeah? Okay. All right. So this is the Cambio. And we have a small, a medium, and a large. And we also have it in, we'll look at these after. So with the small, medium, and large, we have a finer tip. Now, I did this yesterday and some people said we're very grateful for it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how I hold a brush. So I hold a brush like this. let's go back a little bit. So when I'm writing, I'm resting on my first knuckle. Can you see that? And the brush is held completely vertically, so that allows you to use the wrist. Now notice I'm not holding it down at the tip. I'm actually holding it slightly higher up so that I can use the wrist to move down and move the arm to pull. So that allows me to get so that's the fine. I've not really gotten the ink flowing in this because I don't really want to get them too sticky with ink because I am leaving today. This is the medium, and look, you can see a slightly thicker line. So that gives a bigger letter. Just remember to put your caps back on. And then this is the large. So let's have them together so that they can compare them. So the large gives you an even bigger line. So this is a brush version of my upright copper plate. And that also gives you a really big potential to do a really big letter. So that's a Hunt 22B in a Chris Yoke holder, just for you to get a sense of the size of the letters. Yeah, the brush holder that I've developed sort of came out of how both the Chinese and the Japanese hold their brushes, but I've had to augment the hold because writing letters are different from writing characters. Now, the great thing about what we have here is, so I'm going to use the grey cambio, which is actually really nice. So I've just done an upright L, and I'm gonna add a little bit of black to the inside of the L. And to the underside. And I'm gonna add some vermilion to the top side. Now, obviously, you know, lots of you have seen me use this Kuretake Vermilion. So the cambio is so wonderful, and it produces really solid deposition of vermilion. Of course, I can't really talk about Kuretake brushes and miss out my favorite brush, which is the reason I came to Kuretake, because Alice found this Fude 8 brush. So of course, holding it upright, it allows us to get. So let's go back a little bit. Sorry. So what I'm doing is, I want you to see my arm in relation to the brush. The desk's a little bit low for me, but so do you have the whole thing? Yeah. So if you go back, so let's get all of me in this. So what I'm doing is, the elbow is away from the edge of the desk, because that allows me to roll on the front muscle, so I get that beautiful elliptical movement. And as you can see, I'm not holding the shoulder up. I'm actually resting the I'm not resting on the arm. I'm just resting the arm on the desk for support. And that allows me to move much more smoothly. So that's how whole arm movement works. So the Fude 8, or the Fude 8, also allow us to produce let's get that a little bit closer. I can't really see a comment, sorry. Now, again, this pen, and I did do a post on this so that you can see the kind of control you, once you sort of work with the tool. I wouldn't be able to do this if the pen wouldn't allow me to do it. So 2 more things to show you. First is, so I'm going to show you 2 things. So this is just some black paper. I meant to show you this. So this is the 55, which is really spongy. So let's look at it sideways on first. So look at this. It does spring back beautifully. It's a little bit difficult to work with. Some people complain about, you know, what you can do with it. Well, you can do some Western script with it. But it's actually really interesting if you're sort of pushing the brush a little bit. But I don't really want to talk about that. What I really want to talk about is this. So this is the gold mica paste. Those of you who saw me in Phoenix started calling this the Paul Antonio paste, which was quite funny. So I've spoken to, I've done a few posts where I've talked about this. So one of the things I found is if you flex the paper a little bit, it gives the paper a little bit of spring. So when you're actually writing, the paper is interacting with the nib. So I'm gonna mix up this gold mica paste. I'm gonna put a little bit of it out so you can see what it looks like. So it's this really thick paste. So it comes out that thick. And then I'm gonna mix up a little bit. I'm just gonna drop some water into that. Now look at what happens. So it's already starting to come off the paste. I'm just going to mix that up on the side. And you can see how fine that is. All right. I'm going to add a little bit more water to give it a little bit of a little better flow. And I'm using a Hunt 22B, again with Chris's holder. The test sheet, just to... All right, here we go, ready? So what I normally do is I brush some on and then I just tap to see if any comes off. See? So you see how beautiful and fine that hairline is. Try and keep the brush, keep the nib clean. Now, there is a reason I'm cleaning it, and that's because I want to do a feather flourish. Thing to show you, and then I need to hang up.
Oh, the button is running out.
Yeah, I know. It's okay. I'm almost finished. So we'll do this here. All right. So one of the things I want to show you is the last thing I want to show you is when you use the Postman Markers, you can do something really amazing with the Postman Markers. You might want to do it from outside, looking at the screen.
So, shall I?
No. If you go over there and you point it to the screen.
Screen?
Yeah.
すみません、失礼します。
Yeah. So by using the Postman marker, I'm going to use the silver. Don't want too much color in this. So I'm going to do So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take so instead of making a shadow on the outside with the corner like so, actually going to go back into the letter. Trying not to get it too wet. So that gives it a very different feel. Now, I'm just gonna grab the camera so that you can see what it looks like from here. Obviously, it's very different on a slightly larger scale. All right, I think that's enough. I sort of need to go and write some names for people. Thank you very, very, very much for staying on for so long. And I'm just gonna give you a shot of the stand. Just have a nice piece of perspex here to write on. All right, so great. Have a wonderful evening. I will post this. I will post this onto my business Facebook page so that it stays up for a long time, because I really want the Sumi Ink and the Sumi carver to stay up, because I would love that to stay up, because they're so wonderful and they're so wonderfully gifted. Hey Adam, how you doing? Thank you so much. Have a good day, everyone. Bye bye.